This video I'm going to show you how to load in ready-made components, the speaker and the circuit board, battery pack if you need it, and then how to make holes in your box to hold those components that are suitable. So you need to start by going to your OneNote. Now you should have, your teacher will point you to a page. In this case it's under our Bluetooth speaker project, CAD part files for speaker project, but wherever they point you to. And then you've got 4 files here that you're going to need to copy to your SolidWorks folder. So you can try selecting all of them, right click, copy. Now in my case, I saved them into my OneDrive, Rob SolidWorks, you'll remember from the last video, Sandwhich design demo. Okay, and then we're going to right click and paste. Sorry, this is Windows 11. Now sometimes it'll only do one component at a time, which is really annoying. Stupid Microsoft. So I'm going to have to do each one individually. So copy the speaker, paste. You only need to do this once. Main circuit board, paste. And USB cable. Now obviously if you're not planning to use the battery box in yours, you don't need it. If you're not planning to use the USB cable, you don't need it. So you have a choice between these guys here. Anyway, once you've copied them across, we're now going to load them into your model. So you go, make sure you're on the assembly tab and you go up to insert components, and it should default to the area where you've saved the file. So I'm going to start by taking, you can actually select all of them. So I'm going to take a USB cable, battery box, main print circuit board and speaker. I'm holding down control, by the way, on the keyboard to select them. Click open, give it a minute. Okay, there we go. And click once to place the battery. Click again to place the circuit board, click again to place the speaker, and click again to place the USB cable. Okay, try not to place them on another object if you can, because that can complicate things. All right, good. Now, if you want to know how big a hole to make for each of these things, there's a very handy tool. If you go to the Evaluate tab, you'll see you've got a little tape measure. Pick that and then just click like on the top of the surface, and you'll see that says to us diameter 50 millimeters. So I know I need to make a 50 mil diameter hole if I want to put this speaker in. I know also I'm going to make a hole for this bit to pass through, and that is 8.6 diameter. Probably a good idea. Actually, no, it's not that bit we need. It's the threaded part, so it's this bit I need, which is a diameter of 7 millimeters. Okay, so I need a 7 mil hole for that, and I need a 50 mil hole for my speakers. Okay, fair. Right, and get ready your tape measure now. And I want to make my holes on the top. In fact, actually, that's going to be the bottom of my speaker. So I'm going to make, don't want to see the screws. I want them on the table. So I want the speakers in the non-screwed side. So this is the part we want to work on. Very important, you right click and go edit part. Okay. You'll see that it goes blue. That's how you know you're working on it. And I'm going to right click on it and make a sketch, this one here. And now I'm going to draw my 2 50 millimeter holes. Okay, so I'm going to take the circle tool, draw one circle, draw another. I'm going to go smart dimension because we need these bang on. 50, and this is where you may find you have issues fitting them in. And we'll talk about that in a minute and how we can modify it. So 50 and 50, good. Now I can see clearly the speakers are going to fit, but actually the housing around them is not going to work. That's fine. We can work on that in a minute, but this is kind of one of the reasons we're doing this, is that you can check everything fits. So what I'm going to do, I want to keep them in these kind of ear hole shaped bits. So just going to click tick on the dimension tool. I want it perfectly aligned with this, right? So I'm going to click the circle, I'm going to hold control on my keyboard and click the outer ring there. And then I'm going to choose a concentric relationship. There we go. I'm going to do the same on this one. Click the circle, hold control, click the outer, choose concentric. They are now, these little green symbols mean that these are linked now. So if I make these bigger or whatever, they'll move. All right, I'm deliberately going to cut these and make the holes anyway, even though I can clearly see my speaker's going to overlap it because of the big square around it. And I'm going to show you how you can modify your box later. So I'm going to go to features, extruded cut. And it's automatically picked them, which is good. They're going the right way. I'm just going to pick through all, which just cut the thickness we need and click the tick. Brilliant. I've got my 2 speaker holes. Now it's time to go back to assembly mode because we want to assemble the speakers into those holes to see just how badly they don't fit. So that's why I clicked that little icon up there. Right, we're going to go to mate. So assembly mate. And this bit you've got to pay close attention to. We want the round bit of this axle, so this kind of outside of the cylinder, selected. And then we're going to pick the same feature but on the inside of one of the holes. Right, now you'll see what that's done. That's put the speaker in it, but it's upside down. If it's upside down, just click this guy over here. That'll spin it the other way around. Click the tick when you're happy. And now I know that this bit here is going to glue to the underside of my box, but I've got a bit of a problem. I can't see the underside of my box. So we might need to temporarily hide some stuff. So I'm just going to undo my mate. I'm just going to temporarily make the middle and the bottom invisible. Okay. If you click on them, you'll highlight them over here. You can right click and tick the eye. See, that makes it invisible. You can also tick that guy and make it invisible. Now this will really help when it comes to constraining. So I'm going to go to mate. Okay, pick that. And now pick the underside because I can select it. Happy days. Click the tick. And I now need another speaker, which is fine. So there's an easy way to get another speaker. If you just select it, so it's blue, come over here, hold control on your keyboard and drag out. Sometimes it doesn't work. You have to do it. Maybe you don't select it, sorry. So hold control and drag while, no, that's it. So don't select it first, just hold control and drag from the menu. That'll make you another speaker. Let's do the same again. Let's mate this guy. So mate that round bit, and here, and then we want the underside of that mated to the underside of that. There we go. Now, of course, these are going to be free to spin around. So if I just get rid of mates at the moment, you'll see they can rotate around that axis, but it's fine. You know, we're going to put them in the most efficient way. Right, I clearly need to make some changes now. So I'm going to go back and make these guys visible. Show components. And if you remember, the very first panel we made was the base of the box, and every other panel, middle and top, was based off that. In theory, if we modify the base of our box and make it bigger, the other panels should adapt in sympathy. I say in theory because quite often it goes wrong. So I'm going to go base of box. I'm going to right click, edit part. And if we look through our history, boss extrude, that's where we did the original shape. If I open it up, there's the sketch we drew. If I right click and choose edit sketch, I'm back to a place where I can make this sketch bigger. So what I could try doing now is let's go, I don't know, 80. It's looking more promising. That might just fit. 80. Good. And actually, do you know what? I'm happy with the bottom bit. I know it looks a bit out of proportion. Now, the only thing I've not factored in is we've got to remember the thickness of the walls. So I reckon it'd be prudent to put another couple of millimeters on. Let's go 82. So we've got to make sure the walls fit inside. I actually, do you know what? 85 to be comfortable. Okay, let's do the same over here. 85. Good, good. Okay, and right, we've modified that so we can return by clicking this. So you'll see that will update that panel, and because the others were drawn from it, they've modified as well. This is the power of what we call parametric modeling. Okay, you only have, as long as you draw things in the right way in SolidWorks, you don't have to worry. Things will update automatically, basically, which is very handy. Okay, we're going to click return now. Go back to assembly mode. Good idea here to check with the section tool that everything is as you expect. So what I mean by that, if we click on our top surface and then click on this tool here, we can now drag this arrow down and we can kind of get a cross-section view for our object. And while we're there, we can kind of go in there and go, well, let's have a look. Is that speaker fitting comfortably? I saw it briefly. I think we can be confident it is. I know I can fold those metal tabs round, so that's not a problem. In fact, I could just have them pointing to the middle, couldn't I? So I don't need to fold them at all. So this is good. I know my speakers fit. Okay, must remember to click the section view to come out of it. And now what I want to do is something a little bit harder. I want to put my volume control on this face here. That's going to take a little bit more work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide these guys that I don't need. I'm going to hide the speakers, and all I'm doing is holding Control while I select them, right click on them and choose the eye, so they're temporarily invisible. Just makes working so much easier. Now it's this guy I want to work on, so remember to select, right click, edit part. Just always make sure you're editing the part you're making a hole on. If I expand it, we've got some work planes. Okay, now I can't draw a hole on a curved surface, but what I can do is draw a hole on that top plane and extrude it through as a cut. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click on my top plane, make a sketch. Now stupid view's in the way. This is where if you press the section tool, it's very handy because it cuts your view right there. So you're just looking, just to show you, you're just looking at a bit of interest. And so I'm just going to click my cube again, so I'm looking dead on at it. Good, right, and now I'm going to make the hole for my speaker. So I click the tick for section view. Now, sorry, not the speaker, the hole for the variable resistor was 8, I believe, or it might have been 7. So I'm going to go 7.5 actually. Click the tick. Oh, what did I do there? I don't think I did that right. Smart dimension, click that. 7.5. That's better. Return. Okay, now if you click the section view to undo it, what we're now going to do is make that an extruded cut. So we go features, extruded cut. Okay, now it's saying, in my case, it wants me to pick it, so I picked it. Yours, if you didn't click return, it'll pick it all the way. And I'm just going to drag that all the way through, so we punch through it. And as long as you do a cut, there you go, that will fit it. We can click return back to assembly mode now. And now we've got a chance to glue our speaker in. Okay, so same method, I'm going to mate. Now in this case, you can't pick a thread to mate, it doesn't work. So pick another round bit. So I'm going to pick that. I'm going to pick that tube. That's the wrong way round, so we click this. And now this one's a little bit harder. We've got a flat face, so that face there needs to touch against this, but the trouble is that's curved. So we're going to click it, and it's switched to a tangent this time. Do you see? Click the tick and we're done. Now you can already start to see some issues with our design. Obviously these little, being a curve, these little prongs are going to, by the time we put the nut on there, these prongs aren't actually going to, it's not going to work basically. All right, so we might have to set this back a bit, or make a spacer, or change the design of our box, or whatever it may be to make that fit, or maybe even decide on a different place to put it. Okay, now I'm not going to go into it for all of the components because it's your challenge. All I'm going to say is perhaps you could put your battery box in with mates. Okay, so just I'll show you the battery box and that's it. So I'm going to make the top of my box visible again. There we go. Actually, it's not the top of the box, it's the bottom of the box I wanted to make visible. So visible bottom of the box. And I'm just going to make my battery in there to check it works. So I'm going to go mate, pick the, oh, this is slow. Pick the bottom of my battery pack and the top of that. Now it's done it the wrong way up, so click the flipper. There we go. And with the battery box, I'm just going to stick it down. So I'm just going to click the X and then drag it. Oh God, so slow. There we go, drag it into place, okay? You can rotate stuff around as well. There are, if you've got move component, rotate component, so you can pick on something and just manually spin it round, click the tick. But as you can see, we may be struggling for room because if I put the speakers back together, so let's make them visible, you can see we're a bit stretched for room there. So I may have to rethink this design, but the point is I've shown you how to start importing components and constraining them, or mating them as it's called, and getting an idea for whether it will all fit in your box and be compact. I think this is nearly there. But you guys have got to apply the same to your own, okay? You could also put a hole through the case for your speaker. You don't have to worry about making it plug in because obviously this would be bendy in real life. But now you get the idea, we're getting closer to a finished product. Okay, that's how to import components and play with them. Try and apply it to your design.